Welcome back. We're going to start on our second half of Unit 6, which is our cubic function. And on our first day back, we're talking about the sum and difference of cubes. This means we're going to be factoring our sum and difference of cubes. Before we get started, one of the things I find very helpful is you need to have a list of cubes. So on the back of your paper, we're going to go ahead and just make a list. 1 to the third power equals 1. 2 to the third power. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 cubed equals 27. 4 cubed equals 64. 5 cubed equals 125. And these are just numbers you want to keep handy. 6 cubed equals 6 times 6 is 36 times 216. 7 cubed equals 343. 8 cubed equals 512. 9 cubed equals 729. And 10 cubed equals 1000. And as we're factoring our cubes, we're going to be looking for any of these numbers here. So that's why it's handy to have them easily accessible, because most of us do not have these memorized. Okay, so when we go to factor our sum and difference of cubes, the way we do this is we have to make sure that what we are working with is a cube, is something cubed plus or minus something cubed. If there's any GCF, or greatest common factor, we factor that out. In this case, there's nothing in common. Determine which formula to use. X cubed plus 125, that's going to be the sum, so addition. So it's going to be the form of something cubed plus something cubed. So what I need to do now is identify what is cubed. So my first term, x, has been cubed. And the second term, remember our chart, 125 is equal to 5 cubed. So according to my formula, I have something cubed, so in this case my a value is actually x, plus b cubed. And b in this problem is 5. The factors based on this are going to have this format: a plus b multiplied by a squared minus ab plus b squared. So again, the format is going to be a plus b multiplied by a squared minus ab plus b squared. And we said that our a value for this problem is x, so it's going to be x plus, what was b? b is 5. So x plus 5 multiplied by a squared, my a value again is x, so x squared minus a times b, so x times 5. So normally we would call that 5x plus my second term squared. So what's inside this parentheses, b, which is a 5, squared. 5 squared is 25. So the factors of x cubed plus 125 are x plus 5 multiplied by x squared minus 5x plus 1 plus 25. So these are my two factors of that. You will not be able to break it down any further. Okay, so let's take a look at our second problem on the left. 27x cubed plus 343. Okay, again, is there anything in common here? And there's not. Nothing will factor into both of these. Okay, so 27, if we look at our table, we recognize that is something cubed. X cubed, that's obviously cubed. And 343, is that a cube of some number? And it is. That's equal to 7 cubed. So I'm going to rewrite this with my a figuring out what is cubed here. So 27 is the same as 3 cubed. So that's 3x cubed plus 343 is 7 cubed. So again, the 3x is what my a value is.
Mr. Scott Whitlow, please call extension 7019. Thank you.
Okay, and my b in this problem is the 7. 7 is what was cubed here. And they are added together. So my factors always have that form of a plus b multiplied by a squared minus ab plus b squared, which we had written here. So this factor, the first part is a plus b, so 3x plus b, which is 7, multiplied by a squared, and remember a is just 3x, so 3x squared minus a, which is 3x, multiplied by b, which is 7, plus b squared, so 7 squared. I'm just going to write that out here, and then we're going to simplify this. So 3x plus 7 stays exactly the same. 3x squared, remember we distribute that squared to everything inside the parentheses, so 3 squared is 9, x squared is just x squared, minus 3x times 7. We still keep the negative here, so 3x times 7 is minus 21x, plus 7 squared, which is 49. So the factors of 27x cubed plus 343 are 3x plus 7 and 9x squared minus 21x plus 49. Those are my two factors. Okay, this third problem, we actually have a typo on here, so let's change this to 32x cubed plus 500. And when we look at this and compare it to our chart, 32 is not a cube, neither is 500. So we know we're not going to be able to do our factoring unless there's the greatest common factor we can take out of here. So looking at this, let's see what goes into 32. 2 goes in there, and 2 goes in here. How about 4? 4 will go into 32, 4 will go into 500. How about anything bigger? How about 8? 8 goes into 32, but it does not go into 500. So 4 is my greatest common factor. So I'm factoring a 4 out. 32x cubed divided by 4 leaves me with 8x cubed plus 500 divided by 4 is 125. That looks much better, doesn't it? You recognize any cubes in there? Of course you do. 8 is cubed and 125 is 5 cubed. So we're going to do the same step. Keep that 4 hanging out there. And 8 is the same as 2 cubed. So this part is 2x cubed plus 5 cubed. So again, the 2x is what my a value is. The b value is 5. So when I go to write my factors now, I still have that 4 that was hanging out in front. My first factor is going to be a plus b, so 2x plus 5. The second factor is a squared, so 2x squared minus a times b, so 2x times 5 plus b squared, which is 5. We want to square that. And we're just going to simplify that. So we have 4 times 2x plus 5 multiplied by 2x squared. 2 squared is 4. X squared. Can you see that 2 there? 2x times 5 gives me 10x, so minus 10x plus 5 squared, which is 25. So my factors of 32x cubed plus 500 are 4 times 2x plus 5 times 4x squared minus 10x plus 25. And the way to make sure that this works correctly is go ahead and multiply these back together. So multiply these guys together, or multiply these guys together, and you will get back to your original expression. Okay, notice on every one of these we were adding the cubes together. On the right-hand side, we're subtracting. So in this case, we're going to have to use our difference of cubes. Our format is going to be something, some value in A cubed minus something else that's been cubed. And our factors have the same format, AB, A squared, AB, B squared. The difference is the signs. So we have a minus here and a plus here. And this is where SOAP comes from. SOAP stands for S equals same, O equals opposite. Let's see if you can see this. And AP equals always positive. So my factors will always have the same sign as our first expression. So this was a negative, this is a negative. Second one will always be the opposite sign. So if this is negative, this is going to be a positive. And the last sign is always positive. So same sign, opposite sign, always positive. And notice that also worked with our sum. Same sign, they're both plus. Opposite signs, so plus and a minus, and then always positive. So that's just a little reminder of what SOAP stands for. Okay, so we're going to do the same format. Is there anything we can factor out here? No. So now we're going to look, is this term, can we write it as something cubed? Of course. So this is really x cubed minus 8 is the same as 2 cubed. So my A value is the x, the B value is 2. So my factors of x cubed minus 8 are of the form A minus B multiplied by A squared plus A times B plus B squared. So my A value was x, my B value is 2, so my first factor is x minus 2. The second factor is A squared, so x squared plus A times B. So x times 2 is 2x plus B squared. So B is 2, 2 squared is 4. And these are my factors of x cubed minus 8, excuse me. Okay, let's do another practice. This one, notice that we're subtracting here. So let's take a look. 27 we know is a cube. X cubed is x cubed. And is 64 a perfect cube? Yes, that's 4 cubed. So we could rewrite this as 3x cubed minus 4 cubed. And again, remember we're doing this simply so we know what is represented by A and what is represented by B in our formula. So we want A minus B. So that's going to be 3x minus 4 plus, or not plus, multiplied by A squared. So again, 3x squared plus A times B. So 3x multiplied by 4 plus B squared. So 4 squared. And the last step then, we can't leave it just like this. We have to simplify it. So 3x minus 4. Now 3x squared is the same as 3 squared, which is 9, multiplied by x squared. In our middle term we have 3x times 4, so that's plus 12x plus 4 squared plus 16. And again, if you left it as 4 squared, I would not count that as correct. You know what 4 squared is. So you need to go through and multiply that out. Okay, last problem. First of all, have we done any with a negative out in the front? And we haven't. So I would rewrite this, putting the 64y squared in the front. Because this is just on the side here. If you had negative 2 plus 5, we know that we could rewrite as 5 minus 2. Right? That they give us the same answer. So I'm going to rewrite this as 64y squared minus 27x cubed y squared. So all I've done is moved them. They kept the same sign, so they have the same value. Okay, now we've got to look and see, do we have a greatest common factor? So is there anything I could factor out of both terms? And the y squared is in both terms. So I'm going to factor that out by dividing it. So I end up with a y squared. And if I had 64 divided by y squared, I would just have 64 left. minus 27x cubed. And again, that y squared I factored out to the front. So that was my greatest common factor. Now I've got 64 and 27. I recognize that those are both cubes. So I'm going to rewrite this as leaving my greatest common factor out front. 64 is the same as 4 cubed minus 27. The cube root is 3x. So we've got 4 cubed minus parentheses 3x close parentheses cubed. And now I can write my factors. I leave that greatest common factor out front, so I've still got my y squared multiplied by a minus b. So remember, 4 is a and b is 3x. So 4 minus 3x. Perfectly okay to have the x in the second part instead of the first there. Okay, multiplied by a squared, so 4 squared plus a times b plus b squared. Okay, so again, we've got to simplify that. We can't turn it in just leaving the numbers like that. So our final factors here will be y squared multiplied by 4 minus 3x multiplied by 4 squared is 16. 4 times 3x is 12x plus 3x squared. So 3 squared is 9. X squared gives me that. So that's how we do our sum and difference of cubes.